Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on Cobbler's Vlogs where the playoffs are upon us. We've got the Championship, League 1 and League 2 playoffs coming up over the course of this week and next week before the finals next weekend. I'm going to be making some predictions today. We're going to be starting with the Championship predictions. We've got Barnsley against Swansea City and Bournemouth against Brentford. We're going to make some predictions, look at how both teams fared throughout the season and then make a prediction and see who I think is going to be going up to the Premier League next season. Tomorrow's video we'll look at the League 1 predictions, and the day after that we'll be looking at League 2. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into my Championship playoff predictions. Okay, so let's get into the first game then. It's Bournemouth versus Brentford. Brentford obviously had the best of the playoff teams in terms of their league position. Brentford finished third in the Championship, playing 46 games, winning 24 points, drawing 15. Only lost 7 throughout the season, a staggering 87 points. Their key men to watch out for in this game, Brentford, Matthias Janssen in the centre of the park. He's going to be dangerous. Fosu Henry for Brentford, decent attacking midfielder, plays just behind the strikers, can make things happen, can be creative, got a creative mind. Sergi Canos as well, if you remember, he used to play for Liverpool at one point. Sergi Canos on the right can be very effective, got plenty of assists this season and has chipped in with a few goals. And then up front, it's not to be ignored, Ivan Toney, the man from Northampton himself, 31 goals for Brentford this season. I think that's a record. I'm not too sure. You'll have to go and check the record books yourselves. I probably should have done that anyway. That's my job. But Ivan Toney, top scorer for Brentford this season, 31 goals. Obviously went from Peterborough to Brentford in the summer. There's no doubt that surely Ivan Toney will be playing in the Premier League next season. Whether it's for Brentford or whether it's for somebody else, we're yet to find out. But he's going to be key if Brentford manage to get to Wembley and get to the Premier League through the playoffs. If we look at Bournemouth, then they're the lowest ranked team of in the playoffs. They came 6th in the Championship, having played 46 games, winning 22. They drew 11, lost 13. They finished with 10 points less than Brentford. Brentford finished on 87. Bournemouth finished on 77. Men to look out for: David Brooks on the right hand side, can be a threat down the wing. You've also got Junior Stanislas, who's got 11 goals for them up front this season. Dominic Solanke's struggled in the Premier League with Liverpool and Bournemouth, but since going down to the Championship, he's been good. 15 goals for him this season. And Dan Juma as well can play out wide, can play in centre attacking midfield, or can play up front, and he's shown that this season with 15 goals for the Cherries. In terms of the games throughout the season, obviously the sides played each other in the Championship. On the 30th of December, the first time they met, Brentford were 2-1 winners. And then on the 24th of April, so quite recently, the two sides met. Brentford also won by a goal to nil in that game. So Brentford did the double over Bournemouth this season, a 2-1 win at home and then a 1-0 win away at the Vitality Stadium. In terms of what I think is going to happen, I've said in the first leg that Brentford are going to sneak a 1-0 win. Obviously, there's going to be fans, I think, at Bournemouth for the first leg. There's certainly going to be fans in for the second leg as well. So I'm going to say Brentford are going to win 1-0 in the first leg. In the second leg, I think Bournemouth are going to get back into it, but Brentford will just have too much for them. And I think Brentford are going to win 2-1 in the second leg, which gives me an overall aggregate score of Brentford 3, Bournemouth 1. So it's Brentford going to Wembley for me. You guys on Twitter agreed with me. I put out a poll saying who's going to go through from this tie. Can't speak. Who's going to go through from this tie? 68% of you said that Brentford were going to go through, with only 31 saying Bournemouth. So pretty confident. This one's really Brentford's to lose by the looks of it. But the next match could be a lot tighter. It's Barnsley and Swansea City. Okay, so the second game of the Championship playoffs, then it's Barnsley versus Swansea City. This one a bit tighter than Brentford v Bournemouth. Barnsley have played 46 games this season, obviously winning 23, drawing 9, losing 14. They have 78 points on the board. Some of their key men, Connor Chaplin's going to be a key one up front for them. Hasn't scored as many as he probably would have liked to. I think he's only scored 4 or 5 this season, but we know he can be a threat for Barnsley. They've also got Alex Marrett as well, the midfielders, chipped in with 8 goals this season. And Callum Britton as well, out wide. He used to play for, I think, MK Dons. So I know quite a bit about him. Really good attacking winger. And he'll be able to cause Swansea all sorts of problems down the wing for Barnsley. As for Swansea, they've played 46 games this season, winning 24, drawing 11, losing 12. They finished with 2 more points than Barnsley. Barnsley finished on 78. Swansea finished on 80 points. Matt Grimes, the former Cobblers man, he's going to be key for them, dictating the play in the middle of the park. He's obviously their captain now as well. Conor Hourihane up front can be a threat for the Swans. Jamal Lowe as well, used to play for Portsmouth. Really, really exciting young prospect, and he's having a good time in the Championship. He got 14 this season. And Andre Ayew, we all know all about him, don't we? 16 goals for the Swans this season, and he's been fantastic for them in securing them a playoff spot. When they played each other this season, Swansea, like Brentford, did the double over their opponents. On the 19th of December, the two sides met for the first time. Swansea came out 2-0 winners on that occasion, and then they met just over a month later on the 16th of January January. That time Swansea were also 2-0 winners, so Swansea winning 4-0 overall, 2-0 both times in the Championship this season. In terms of what I think is going to happen in that game, I think this is a fairly straightforward one as well. I've gone for a 0-0 draw in the first game. Obviously, I think fans are going to be in at Oakwell for the first game. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw in that one, and then I think the Swansea fans, they're going to be up for it in the second leg after drawing 0-0 in the first, and I think Swansea are going to win 2-0 in the second leg, which gives me an overall aggregate score of Barnsley 0, Swansea City 2. On Twitter, you guys also agreed with me. 60% of you, well, about 61% said that Swansea were going to get through in this one. Only 39% of you backing Barnsley. So it looks very, very strongly as though Swansea are going to get through in this one, which leads us to a Brentford versus Swansea playoff final. I just think that Bournemouth, I think, probably need a bit more time to build if they want to get to that final and get into the Premier League. I think Bournemouth will be back in the Premier League one day, but I just think they'll have a few years in the Championship before that happens. Barnsley, to me, they were in League One very, very recently, weren't they? 2 or 3 seasons ago. I don't see them as a Premier League club or ready for that Premier League step up just yet. So I think Swansea or Brentford will be perfectly suited to the Premier League. Obviously, I don't think we've ever seen Brentford in the Premier League before. We might have seen them in the top flight, but I've never seen Brentford in the Premier League. Swansea, we obviously know that they've been there recently. They've been in the Championship for 2 or 3 seasons now. So it's a tough one to call. I think in the end, Brentford are probably just going to have a little bit too much for Swansea, and hopefully we see Brentford in the Premier League next season. So there you have it. They are my predictions for the Championship playoffs. Barnsley and Bournemouth, unfortunately, are going to fall at the first hurdle, and we're going to get a Swansea versus Brentford playoff final at Wembley, which is hopefully going to be a very good game, and I think we're going to see Brentford in the Premier League next season. But it's the playoffs. You never know what can happen. Obviously, the Cobblers, I know for my team in League 2, we were 7th last year in League 2, and we still got into League 1. We beat Cheltenham and then beat Exeter in the finals. So, you know, Barnsley could do exactly the same thing. Bournemouth could do exactly the same thing. Any 4 of these teams will be in the... Well, obviously, any 4 of these teams could be in the Premier League next season, but I don't think there's one that you're saying they're going to be there. I think anyone could get in the Premier League next season, but for me, I think it's probably going to be Brentford. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do I got this completely wrong? I don't really watch the Championship normally, so I'm kind of guessing a little bit, I suppose you could say, just done a little bit of basic research. But if you think something else is going to happen, let me know in the comments. Are Bournemouth going to make an appearance back to the Premier League at the first time advancing? Are Barnsley going to get in there, or is Swansea going to make it? Or are you going with me? Are you going with Brentford getting through to the Premier League? Obviously the richest game in football, isn't it? The playoff finals. So yeah, they're my predictions. Let me know what you think of them in the comments section. If you've enjoyed this video, please smash the like button. That would be fantastic. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel as well. Hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. So yeah, on with the playoffs. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button. Thanks to our Patreons as well. Make sure to go and check out our partners Fan Hub on the App Store. And until next time, thank you for watching. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye.